Everybody, good morning, and how are you doing, everyone? It's your boy MarkN, MUFC fan, and it's your morning views, Manchester United news. And there's been a lot of talk about the short list of managers, and there's four names that's been leaked on the short list, guys. We're going to discuss that, and we're going to discuss Eric Ten Hag's, stay at the club. Is he going or is he here to stay? What is going on? What's the comparison between him and the four managers that are on the short list that have been leaked? This is one of the important things for me because factors will remain that, we can't make excuses for one, but not make excuses for the other. It's a balanced playing field, and we all have to do it just the way that it should be. It's not one of those things where it could just be like, I don't like this guy. He doesn't fit the way I see things. At the end of the day, it's what works. And what's going to work, we never know at the same time. Because if you look at this Manchester United team over the last decade, it's been a problem. Managers have always seemed to come up short for some reason, but the players remain. And the players remain. Will they remain again, or will we finally change over and do things and start anew? Will the squad be broken, or will the manager face the axe? Let's get into it. And I got my buddy John Morgan here to help me out with this view this morning. So, guys, take this time to subscribe, smash those like buttons, hit the notification bells. Let's go. And big up to everybody. I got my buddy John Morgan here. John Morgan, what's good, my bro? What's going on? How are you doing, man?
Good, bro. Good. Just a bit terrified at the recent news. The shortlist, the league shortlist, as you said, that came out last night. It's currently nuts at the moment. But I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm breathing, so I'm good. Thank you. How
It's
are
one
you?
of those things, my bro. Let's get into the short list really quickly and see what's going on because, as we know, there's a lot of information, and the hottest name on the list is Roberto De Zerbi. Guys, your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Big up to you, Alien Tenno. Hope you're having a good morning. Oli outed the Rats 100%. At the end of the day, we always knew that the Glazers were these kind of people, that these are the kind of things that they do. So it's nothing really new. But big up to you, my bro. And if you got time, bro, I'm going to drop the link in the comments. You could come in and give your take. I'm just going to run through this information here. The link is there, my bro. What's good? Big up to you, KennyFANtv. How are you doing, my bro? Right, let's get into this, guys. Roberto De Zerbi, guys. So far, he's been one of the most highlighted managers in the league. It's been said that every single top club is looking at him. Why are the reasons that they're looking at him? Style of play. And style of play has been one of the greatest talking points in the last few weeks with all the Manchester United, YouTubers, fans, different pundits, and as well as Sky Sports News and the BBC. Now for me, style of play is something that comes with time. You know what I mean? When a team starts gelling and they start finding each other well, then the style of play is more or less developed and it becomes more defined. If you look at Liverpool, excuse me, sorry. If you look at Liverpool and you look at Man City, these two clubs are exactly identified. In German terms, we'd say genau, and that means precisely what style of play means. And this is because not just because the managers are great managers, but these teams have all over 7 years with the coach in the system in order to develop their style of play and show that in every single game down to the academies. So it's not surprising to me that it's one of those things where you will always be seeing a defined style of play with these two clubs. Arsenal has now become one of the third top clubs that has that defined style of play. Another manager who spent 4+ years at the club and is starting to show why he was kept. Now, Roberto De Zerbi has come into the Premier League to replace Graham Potter, who we will talk about in a few minutes, who had left Brighton last season to become the head coach of Chelsea. It didn't go so well for him, but let's hear what Robert De Zerbi's stats are. He's played 59 matches in the Premier League so far. He has 24 wins, 16 draws, 19 losses, 110 goals scored, and conceded 92. He's from Italy. He's a young guy, 44 years old. and he's been doing well. He's quite the hip coach. He's got this, everybody seems to think it's like this, obsessive nature that they love in coaches, where he wants to win and he wants everything to be perfect. At Brighton, however, he enjoys the selection of having player profiles in every single part of the field. Since they have been one of those clubs that's doing the Moneyball system, they recruit well and they recruit per profile based on the system that they have been playing since before Graham Potter for the last 6 seasons. So while Brighton may be suffering with injuries this season, it's one of those things where you can look at his squad and see that he brings on a like for like replacement in the midfield or in the defense for each of the players who are out injured. They might not be as good, but they are still like for like in terms of profile and type, and they fit the system, which is quite different from what you have seen at Manchester United and other clubs this season. But, just like Man City, just like Liverpool, when their top players are out, there's going to be a drop off. And they have been facing a few losses, including a drubbing by Burnley, as well as other teams this season, and even lost 4-0 to Luton. John Morgan, what are your thoughts on De Zerbi? Because, he's been touted as one of the managers that is, really going to be, you know, high profile in the summer because of the different teams that are looking for managers like Liverpool, Bayern Munich, even Barcelona.
Uh, I think the Zerbi is interesting because for me, he he's played well at times, but then at other times he's been found out and he's been terribly bad. Um, does he have the minerals? I mean, the characteristics to be a Manchester United manager? I would say okay. You can say that, but at the same time, he's made some questionable decisions. Um, his character has been come under question in the way we handled Casado. We said that he's no longer Casado wasn't even sold yet, and he was speaking bad about him in a sense of I no longer I forgot him already or something like that. So for me, it's like um to be a United manager, you don't just have to be a good coach because, as you can see with Eric Ten Hag, you need to have the full basket. You need to have the tongue. You need to be diplomatic. You need to be able to handle the media. You need to be good on the pitch. You need to be able to win games. You need to be able to handle players that he thinks they're bigger than the club. And if you look at Eric Ten Hag and you look at the Zerbi, Kenny said it. They kind of have the same style, but the Zerbi doesn't have the credentials that Eric Ten Hag has. In that Eric Ten Hag has won. Eric Ten Hag has value in the world of football, and the Zerbi kind of broke. The Zerbi is really a guy that broke. And he came out of the woodworks when Brighton signed him. Nobody knew about the Zerbi. Let me say I didn't know about the Zerbi, and when I found out about the Zerbi, I was like, let's see where this is going. And now all of a sudden, he is now touted as one of the best coaches in the world. So, um, interesting. And I think if you timing is everything, and I think if you get a coach like this too early, it can hurt his career. It can hurt his career a lot.
It's possible. Look, my buddy Peter is in the building. Let's see what Alien Tano has to say. Big up to you, Peter. What's going on, my bro? Good morning. Peter, are you there? Oh, I think he just dropped out. He'll probably be back shortly. Big up, guys. Oh, look, he's here now. Just unmute when you get a chance, Peter. Unmute the mic, Peter.
Do you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
What's good? What's good, Peter? How you doing?
Sweet as. How you doing, Mark? John? Okay.
Chilling, bro.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm zoomed in there. Yeah. A lot of people are saying deserving. Not for me. I think. You know what? I'll come out of it now. I would take Graham Potter.
Graham Potter.
Yeah. Now you look for the simple fact is this: Graham Potter was in the same situation as Ollie at Man United, where he was managing the team, but someone else was doing it for him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he was basically not in charge. And we all know who was in charge. Todd Bowley. Yeah. Simple as that. He's bought the players for him. Potter probably didn't want them. You know the rest. Now, for me, when people say, oh, De Zerbi, what you got to understand is who put the foundations down for De Zerbi at Brighton. Graham Potter put them foundations down for him. So I think what people, they're saying they want all these big name managers, this and that. Listen, we're going to be in a transition period. So, for example, in the ideal world, people would say we want Enrique, we want Zidane, this and that. They're going to epically fail if you get them in now because the foundation isn't there for them to succeed. You get a man like Graham Potter in who will put the foundation down look at the players he bought. Matoma, Casado, you know what I'm going to say, McAllister, all these players, top class players who he scouted himself, put them in his system and brought them on in the league. Yeah, this is the manager we need for the next couple of seasons if Erik ten Hag does get replaced.
Can I ask a question then?
Yeah.
So I have two questions. The first question is, would you sack Erik ten Hag for Graham Potter? And the second question that I have is, don't you think that the structure that Graham Potter had at Brighton, I think it was Dan Ashworth, in the different the team, right, his coaching staff, everybody, contributed to him being successful and implementing a style of play and getting Brighton to where they were, so that De Zerbi could walk into a better team. Don't you? For me personally, I think that it wasn't solely based on Potter, and I think that Potter got exposed at Chelsea, and that's the reason why I don't want Potter. But what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, this Ineos are going to have to look at it from this viewpoint. We've all seen the overlap with Ollie's interview, and obviously he stated the problems at Man United, which we all knew anyway.
Mm.
But when someone actually confirms them, then Sir Jim is looking at it and going, okay, this has got to be different. I have to make this different. Now, if Erik ten Hag, these players have threw Ollie under the bus, most of this team. Most of this team are throwing Erik ten Hag under the bus. Sometimes in life, you have to make a clean break and just go, everything's going. The lot's going to go. This is how we're going to do it. You're going to dance to our tune. We don't dance to yours. You dance to what we say. And they make what they should be doing in the summer, if they replace Erik ten Hag, is make a statement. Sell Marcus Rashford. So that filters down to the players as if to say, you're next. You're going to be going next. We've just sold the big tamale. Now you're going to go. This is it. You're not in our plans. Maybe we're not going to sell you straight away. You've got another season left at Old Trafford. Here's our advice to you. Start playing for the next team who's going to buy you, because we're going to get rid of you. We're done with your shenanigans. We're going to bring a manager in. He's going to answer to us. And if you don't do what he wants, we'll terminate your contract there and then. And this is the only way you're going to be a success at Man United, is you have to be stern and put the rules down and go, that's it. Player power has to finish.
Yeah, it has to. It has to.
And for us, I think we're all in agreement here. The biggest rat is Rashford. What do you do with the snake? You take the head off.
You got to chop it off.
That's it. You're gone. You're done. I don't care who you go and play for. I don't care how much they pay you, but you're not getting played here at Man United. You're finished, mate. Goodbye. And then you'll see the little rats running out after him. We know we're finished. We're done. That's it. So the thing is, the problem is, alluding to what you were saying, John, Graham Potter, he did put the foundations down at Brighton. Yeah. If you look at Matoma, he kind of plays like De Zerbi, sorry. He kind of plays like Bielsa football. It's not going to work at Man United. It's not sustainable. What foundations is he going to put down? What foundations has De Zerbi put down at Brighton? I see Deserby as a mercenary manager looking for his next job. But
But for
I mean,
me,
if you look at his stats, if you actually look at his stats, deepest stats compared to Eric Ten Hag's, Eric Ten Hag's got a better win rate than him.
Yeah,
it's
Than Deserby.
if you look at even Graham Potter's stats right now, like I
Yeah.
have it up on the screen, it says he's played 142 matches. He has 41 wins, 51 draws, 50 defeats, 155 goals, and he's conceded 170. And well, one thing tells you that if he gets it right, he scores goals. The other thing tells you that he doesn't have a great win ratio. He doesn't win a lot of
No.
games, you know.
No.
And
Yeah.
if you compare that to Ten Hag, which I will bring up in a little bit, I mean, Graham Potter is a great manager. I will not take away what he done developing Brighton, because Brighton plays really well. And even under him, before the Zerbi come, they were playing
Yeah.
pretty well. I think they were in a situation where if he had stayed, they probably would be doing much better than they are now, right? Because I think the
Yeah.
Zerbi is slightly different. But at the same time, it is what it is with the situation. You know, he went to Chelsea, and for me, that was a huge step up for him. I wasn't too sure about him taking that step. I think it was a bad move for Graham Potter, to be
It was.
honest.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, I'm still gonna have to judge him based on the fact that, you know, not even. I mean, if you look at Chelsea and you look at Man United, they're not too far apart in terms of the situation
No,
with the backroom staff, right?
they're not now.
And when if you look at Eric Ten Hag, I'll bring him up one time because it makes sense since we're gonna segue there
before you
anyway.
do that, Mark,
Hmm.
that win rate is a 28% win ratio.
Hmm.
That is crazy.
It
Like,
is actually.
I won't be able to handle that. Honestly, I won't be able to. Graham Potter, I understand what you're saying, Peter. I understand that there's good elements to his game, but he will get slated at United with the media. I mean, we
Of
saw
course,
how
yeah.
things petered out with Chelsea, and Chelsea is not United when it comes to the media. Eric Ten Hag won us a trophy last season. He got us into Champions League last season. Every single day since the week started, there has been a report about a new manager that's in line to take his job. That is nuts. Now imagine Graham Potter loses 3 games in a row and he's just getting his career started. How the media will go and come after him. And I
Yeah.
think for me, I don't see enough credentials in his CV to
I get what
replace
you're
the
saying,
manager that
John.
we
I
have.
do. I do, but this is about steadying the ship. We're not going to be what people have to understand is you're talking this summer, January, and summer 2025 to get rid of the deadwood players. Yeah, we're not going to be successful in this time. You must understand that. We're not. It doesn't matter what manager we get in. We will be battered by teams because we are basically in a state of flux. Yeah. Now people turn around and say they want Tuchel. Yeah. We won the Champions League at Chelsea. Well, what about Robert Di Matteo? What did he do at Chelsea? He
Facts.
won the Champions League with them.
But he only lasted a season.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying is Chelsea was set up they were geared to win things. It didn't matter what manager comes in. If you look at Chelsea, then you look at Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, and Bayern Munich. They all have a continual merry-go-round of changing managers, but they all have the same system. It's like Eric Ten Hag. People say, "Why has Eric Ten Hag failed at Man United?" Because he hasn't got the system. He had at Ajax. Eric Ten Hag didn't play Eric Ten Hag ball at Ajax. He played the Ajax way. That was already laid down for him. People aren't looking
Actually,
at this.
actually,
No,
Tenno,
there's
he
not.
didn't do that actually. I will bring my ex buddy gonna come on the stream. I think he's gonna come on tonight. I'm not sure if it's tonight or he might come on Saturday, but he's coming on to explain. He's one of the assistant coaches for one of the youth teams in Ajax under 15. So
Yeah,
he will explain Eric Ten Hag because in a way, Ajax plays that high energy Gegen press, right? Well, the Dutch version of that, right? But Eric Ten Hag has his own little ways, and in his first season, he was playing exactly to the letter of Ajax football. But coming down to the end of the season, he slightly changes. He changed And that's when you see Gravenberch started playing in his midfield and the other guy, because he have a slightly different way. He does use his possession and players and who does build up and who has the most possession in his team. But I'll let
Yeah,
my buddy explain it because he more,
yeah.
known
I
about
mean,
that stuff. I just
but the
wanted to
thing is, Mark, you got to look at this. Look at the midfield he had at Ajax and to what he's done at Man United. Yeah, we're Polo FC. There's a big hole in the middle.
I
Now,
mean,
I go to
it's
the games, John. I go to the games. I'm a match going fan. I'm saying this from last season. There's a big hole in the midfield.
but isn't that because
Why
we don't
aren't you
have the
doing
right
anything about
profiles
it?
in the midfield though, Peter? Because I feel like, maybe we don't have the right profiles in the midfield that will play his system and do what he expects it designed. And that's because we are also currently in a state of flux. Because if you look at it, look at Tuchel's match record, right? Just look at it on the screen right now.
Yeah,
He's played 63 matches in the Premier League. He has 38 wins, 17 draws, 11 losses, 109 goals for, 59 goals against. So, he's a very good defensive manager, right? So
yeah,
I'll bring it back to Eric Ten Hag because I didn't get to go through that one. But Eric Ten Hag in the Premier League, 65 matches played, 37 wins, 8 draws, 20 losses, 95 goals for, 82 goals against. And what that says to me is that, this manager has a good win record. You know what I mean? If you look, he was one of the first managers to 50 wins in terms of, if you're comparing him with Pep,
yeah,
Ferguson, as well as the other 4 managers, he was second, basically tied with Pep. Ferguson was third because Ferguson took one more game than the two of them. And for me, is I just look at the team right now and the constant state of things is that we're in flux, like you were saying. And
that's
we
it.
don't
Yeah,
have some of the right player profiles in some of the positions, like in defense and in the midfield, that will come in. And, even if there's a drop off in terms of when you make a substitution, the drop off, you're expecting a player that will come on still that has a similar playing profile, whether he as good or he not as good, he should have a similar style. And we really don't have that anywhere in much situations around the park. If you look like Lisandro Martinez, our closest like for him is
yeah,
basically Luke Shaw, who plays left back. So
Mm.
I'm saying, if in terms of we thinking about steadying the ship, he has one more season, and if we're going to replace him, we might as well let him lay a foundation, get rid of the players, so that the new manager who comes in next
yeah.
season
I
to a
get what you're
team that
saying.
already has changed over, where as you said, we cut the head off the snake, we get rid of the problem players, so that way this new squad will be already of the mentality that, hey, player power is done, a new
Yeah,
manager coming in, whether it
and,
be Ten Hag or another manager, we already in a situation where the easiest thing for us to do is to stick with this manager, take the funds that we have to bring in new players, sell the bad players, make the exchange and the changeover, and this way, between now and January, we could actually take our time. When everybody done make the hustle and the hurry to get
but
managers in the summer, we
you
could
know
just
what, Mark?
get our target.
I understand what you're saying, but there's a few problems with that. Yeah, them stats of Eric Ten Hag do not show the epic beatings we have taken in games.
Well,
7-0 Liverpool,
I
six
mean,
three Man City. You're talking of epic beatings that them stats do not show.
yeah, none of those
Fans don't
managers
forget
on the
that. You
list.
can look at a stat sheet all day long, but in a fan's memory, when you're at the ground watching your team getting slaughtered by your rival 7-0, you're not going to forget that easily. You're not
True,
going to forget it.
True, but I mean,
Seriously, you're
look at
not.
it like this, right? If you look at Graham Potter, he held 7, 5, and 6 in his seasons at Chelsea, right? In consecutive games. If you look at the Zerbi, he held 4-0 to
Yeah,
Luton, 5-1 and 6-1 back-to-back game weeks. Now it's the same thing with Thomas Tuchel in his last stint as manager. He got 3-0, 4-1, and 5-1,
nah.
right? Now, my thing is that sometimes, you might suffer a loss. You know what I mean? Now, as a Manchester United fan, it's not something you want to see happen, because our history denotes that we should be winning things. But for
Well,
me, in
yeah.
the last decade, we have not been that club. We have not been to our best. And it's not really because, in my opinion, even if I did not like Ollie or I did not agree with the decisions of Ragnick, I feel like it wasn't the manager's fault. It was more on the players' performance
Well,
and their
yeah.
their, their
Exactly. Yeah.
ability to come out and deliver. So when I look at it from the perspective like, yeah, we held some L's in his first season. We held a few L's this season. But if you look at some of the performances, I feel like the glaring thing for me is the player performance in most situations. I feel like if the players gave a little bit more
I've just
effort
got someone at the
consistently,
door. Won't
no
be a
worries,
sec.
bro. I feel like if players gave a little bit more consistency, in the way they were doing things, it would be a much more balanced situation. Because there are
Yeah,
situations where we played against Liverpool and stuff, and the midfield was not that open.
I agree. Like if Mark, like we that 6-3 and that 7-7 came last season. The very season before that, when we sacked Ollie, we got hammered 4-1 to Watford or 5-1 to Watford, something like that. Ismail Assar was living his best life that game. And I look at it right, you can't really take results in isolation because if Fergie got hammered 6-1 at I think it was at Old Trafford against City. So um exactly. So like if you're looking at results in isolation and you're saying because of this result the manager needs to go, then Fergie should have been sacked after that 6-1 drubbing to Man City. These type of freak results happen. These type of results happen, and it's part of football, right? Now, I ask, okay, what was the reason why it happened? Is it because it was just a once-off freak game? And I think the 7-0 against Liverpool was a freak game because every single pass, every single shot, every single attacking play that they made was a goal, which was it was crazy. Like there were some scrambles that all of a sudden just went in, and all of you see Liverpool's celebrating. So that's my friend. um, so uh, for me, I well, actually it's my cousin. For me, I look at the bigger picture, right? Like that's why you in the industry or in business they say stats don't lie, and we look at Eric Ten Hag stats and we say okay, we can't make a fundamental conclusion on his output as a manager, but what we can do is
Big up, Tano.
we can allow stats to give us some sort of context as to what is happening and how this guy has been performing over the last couple of years. Because as fans, we look at the we look at the manager based on his last game. Based on the last game, and the last game was against City, and the last game, according to them, we only had one shot and we didn't play well. But they don't look at the injuries, they don't look at anything, but they look at the last result, right? And they say, okay, he's a bad manager, he should go. But if you're looking at it like that, you take away the 37 times that he's won. You take away the trophy that he's won. You take away the fact that we got the Champions League last season, where the season before was our worst ever season in the last, I think, 20, 30 years. That
100%.
is crazy. Now, why do we not want to look at the whole truth rather than and why don't we look at what's happening at at the club and look at the mitigating reasons and then say, for example, Liverpool last season, they said these things that didn't go our way. We had a lot of setbacks, but we're going to stick with Klopp because we've trusted him and we're not going to sack him. Us on the other hand, no, no excuses, sack. No, can't work. You
It
can't
can't work, bro. I agree with you 100%. And you know what? Some people might laugh at us and say our standards really low, right, John? But at the same time, I look at it from the real world perspective, right? We look at all these managers across the board just now, all of them, and while some of them might score more goals than Eric Ten Hag, you know, each one of them has played more games than him, except Thomas Tuchel, and none
Yeah.
of them has more wins than him. You know what I mean? All
Mm.
of them have more losses. And it's one of those things where, for me, when I look at these coaches, each one of them has their, strong points and their qualities, and they're
Mm.
very good managers. And I can't say, well, any of them are rubbish, you
Yeah.
know. But from the way I looking at the football and Manchester United, we have a good manager. We have a manager that could take us forward. Now, while he could take us forward, I'm not saying no, he's that guy that is going to be that guy. But
Mm.
I might have that personal feeling that, he might be the guy. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that looking at his performances, if we want to give another manager a clear out, let's clear out for him. He's already here.
Mm.
He has done what he has done for me shows that he deserves us to reset with him at top. At this point, we will be going for stability
Yeah.
because he's already here. People have this, I don't know how to say it, it's like this novelty of the style of play. And the club is going to say style of play, but to bring in now Sachiv. And at the same time, the style of play for me, we already established that when we went and got Eric Ten Hag.
Mm.
In Ollie's last season, he was told, listen, we want to play a more expansive attacking style. So then he already knowing the club chose a style of play. Now, the manager coming in is one of those things where he had to suit the style of play. So now that Ineos here and they said, well, we're going to decide on the style of play, it means that they're going to say, well, I don't think they're going to decide and choose a different style of play. I think what they're going to do is say, listen, we don't have the right profiles in this senior squad
Yeah.
for this style of play. So you know what? Since this is the style of play, we are going to remove the players who doesn't suit this style and bring in players who do.
Mm.
And basically, that's what it meant for me. I don't know how it might be different for you, John. But right before I come to you, let's hear what Sachiv has to say. Big up to you, bro. What's going
Big
on?
up, Mark. What's good, man? Yeah, yeah, I'm good. I'm good today, man. Yeah, yeah. It's been a good stream so far. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
you
just
know,
fun to watch.
thanks, man. Big up to you. And how
Mm-hmm.
are you doing today, bro? Like, I see, like I'm asking everyone the question. I showed the four managers just now, all of them, all of
Oh yeah,
whom have their merits. You know what I mean? All of them are Premier League, have been at least a season already in the Premier League. And
season or two, correct. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. And, while it stands that, Eric Ten Hag is not having the greatest time in his second season right now, I would look at that and say, you know what? If we're going to bring in one of these managers and clear the squad out of the bad players, why don't we do it
Mm-hmm.
for Eric Ten Hag? I feel like he's at least earned his last season. You know what I mean? Because if you look at the amount of injuries, the amount of situations that took place this season, and
Oh
then
yeah,
you look
that's
at the
absolutely.
performances, it kind of coincides. It kind of says, well, listen, maybe if he didn't have the sagas of Greenwood and Anthony, he didn't have the takeover saga, and maybe if he didn't have the
Yeah,
Sancho saga, where could this squad be? Now,
Mm.
I might argue that this squad could definitely have already been in comfortable top four if we didn't have any one of those issues. But that's just my point.
Yeah.
So, Sachev, talk to me. What are you thinking about these managers? We talk about Roberto De Zerbi, Graham Potter,
yeah.
Thomas Tuchel. Any one of them strike you as a manager that you think might be capable?
I can. Yeah, I was just listening to. I was just listening to Alien's point about Graham Potter. Yeah, I kind of hear about the laying about foundation, but like for me personally, it wouldn't just make any sense to right now to sack Ten Hag, and then if we bring in Graham Potter right now, then like right again he has to really like kind of um he has to assess the players again just before he has to clear out the players again in his second season, and then like Graham Potter like it is going to be pretty much as per usual. Like the fans are going to go after Graham Potter if things are not going to go too well. For Deserby, I don't think he's not a bad coach. He's decent, but he has a very similar style of play as Eric Ten Hag. So it wouldn't make much sense for me to replace Ten Hag at this moment of time, because I think the difference between De Zerbi and Ten Hag is like, see, like Robert De Zerbi, he literally has the players he want, has the players that really that can already fit into his system. Whereas for Ten Hag, we still have like some of the counter attacking players that like that can't fit to Eric Ten Hag's Ajax football. So this was why, like last year when we lost to City, he clearly said that he can't play the Ajax way of football. So that's just my take in it. Thomas Tuchel, I don't think. Yeah, I don't want Thomas Tuchel in the club right now.
Yeah. For me, like I agree with you, Sashi, 100%. For me, it's time. We 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 don't know what, as they say, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And what we could be doing is we could be replacing a very good manager, a manager that or hindered by set, and we could be replacing him with utter garbage. And we know what can come from Graham Potter, from Gareth Flippin Southgate, from Thomas Tuchel, Frank. All these managers, De Zerbi, all of these managers look great from the outside, but as soon as they're your manager, it's kind of a bit worrying. So yeah, for me personally, as we close, I think give him time. Give him time. I think for me, um, yeah, it's about time.
I think Mark's internet is still like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, like I
yo.
was saying, it's really about time and
Yeah,
about
I see Alien is
um.
back. Let's get his closing statements. John, thanks for joining me. Big up to you, Sachiv. Alien, what's good, my bro?
All right. Sorry about that, guys. I had.
Oh, that's all good. That's all good. You just went away.
Sorry, guys. You know how it
It's all
is.
good.
You're live streaming. Workman knocks on the door. I need to
It's
do the job.
it's all good, bro. It's all
It's
good.
all good.
Uh, I was just listening to your comments in the background about Eric Ten Hag and that. Yeah. Here's my problems with Eric Ten Hag. Alluding to what you said before, Mark, that you'll have someone on later that says Eric Ten Hag played his way at Ajax. Okay, then. This is a major problem. Why isn't Eric Ten Hag playing that way at Man United? And two, why is he buying players to play his way at Man United, but he's still not doing it? Don't forget, we had a player of his who we nurtured at Ajax, Donny van der Beek. He has not played him. Yeah, he's bought an Anna, not doing the football he wants to do. Yeah, this is not the Glazers' fault. This is Eric Ten Hag's fault. Yeah, so then you have to look at the man and go, okay, then why are you buying players, profile players to play your style of football, yet you're not doing it? Why are you doing this? And
So,
when people say they want to keep him for next season, we're going to have a season like we've had the last two seasons. Eric Ten Hag, indecision. Do we play this way? Do we play that way? Make up your mind, mate, which style of football you're going to play.
well, I mean, and
Because
here's
these are the facts. And then we're talking £400 million later. This is a big mistake. These mistakes are not cheap.
I mean,
You,
in a
you
way,
can't keep doing this.
I agree with you completely with the 400 million, but at the same time, when it comes to that expenditure, boy, Tenno, if you know how funny it is for me, I will never blame a Manchester manager under Murtaugh, Woodward,
Oh, yeah.
and Arnold for money spent, because
The,
from
the
my
only,
experience as a fan, these guys don't have any clue of how to negotiate or manage spending. They are
no, they
just
don't
like
know.
throw
They
money in your
don't.
face. Listen, we are Manchester United. Here's 100 million. Like, they're just wasting the money that we fans, spend in the club because we like to support the club, we like to support
Yeah.
our team, and they're just wasting it. You know what I mean? So for me, the only reason why I would say maybe let's give him a chance is because when we have a guy like Omar Barada coming in, who I know is a huge Ten Hag fan, or as well as a guy who's very meticulous in the way he does things. Then you have a Dan Ashworth. I mightn't be a hugest fan, but
Yeah.
he's one of the guys that proved that he could fill a team with players that will fit the system and take them forward. And I
Another thing,
think.
Mark, yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, if I could just jump in. Another thing you got to understand is this. By the way, I Kenny, okay. What you got to understand is this: with Eric Ten Hag being at Man United, basically, we might as well say 2 seasons,
mhm.
and as far as we perceive, he's been able to do what he wants. Can he work? And he's been able to do what he wants at Ajax as well. Can he now work under a regime where basically he's being told what to do?
I
Yeah.
mean,
If
this
he turns around and says to Sir Jim, I want this player. And they go, no. He doesn't fit the profile we want at the club. Can he work under that? Now, here's another thing, but you got to look at, yeah? This is how Ineos are going to work. I'll tell you exactly how they're going to work now, yeah? Let's hypothesize this. Marcus Rashford is on 350 grand a week.
Mm-hmm.
If we can sell him, yeah, to, let's say, PSG for 80 million, we buy 4 players for 20 million pound each, and we pay them 50 grand a week. We've saved 150 grand in wages, and you've got 4 players. This is how
exactly what
Ineos
he wants.
are going to do business. Yeah,
I think that's exactly
they're not
what
going to
Eric Ten Hag
buy
wants.
marquee players.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think Eric Ten Hag can't work in that regime.
Yeah, but I think that's
I
what he
don't
was
think he'll
doing
be
at
able to
Ajax.
adapt to it.
Tano. And not to cut you, but I think that's what he was doing at Ajax, to be fair, because if you look at all the players that Ajax had, they were all scouted. You know, none of
Well,
those
of course,
players
yeah,
came
this
into
is what I'm
Ajax
saying, yeah.
for
But
big money.
what sticks in my throat, Mark, is this, yeah. He nurtured Donny van der Beek. He brought him through. Why isn't he playing him?
Well, you see, for me,
You
with the
can't
Donny van der
excuse
Beek
that,
thing,
can you?
well, you
It's
see,
like you having a baby, bringing him up and then throwing him under the bus, going, you know what, I
but
don't want you no
Manchester
more, goodbye.
United
Like,
fans kind of did that with Mason Greenwood. So at the same time, it's like, you know, if we calling out Ten Hag for him, we had to call out ourselves for Mason Greenwood, because we didn't back our kid. We raised him.
oh,
You know,
I did, yeah. I backed
mean,
Mason. I want him back. I
me
think
too, eh?
Mason.
I mean, I'm not saying you, because, you know, me and you, we share our opinions, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So Sachev too, you know, but at the same time, I just looking at it from the perspective where, for me, Donny van der Beek was more of a situational circumstance in the fact that, you know, he was getting game time when he came back fit last season, and then he got that ridiculous injury that took him out for the rest of the season. And I think that, and maybe, you know, like as we say, what happened to Ollie is not too different from what happened in some instances to Eric Ten Hag
That's
right
it.
now in
Yeah,
this
exactly.
moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, whereas he would have wanted to do some things differently, maybe he has to, for some reason, play Rashford, has to some reason play certain players in the game, whether it's 20 minutes or 70 minutes, in order for that, you know, because of the club stipulation. You never know. You know, big up to you, Mick. How are you doing,
Yeah,
bro?
big up, Nick. The only thing I'll give
Big up, GB.
Eric Ten Hag credit for, Mark, is this. I don't think Mason Green was Eric Ten Hag signing. I don't think it was. I don't think Eric Ten Hag would have profiled Mason Mount. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think Eric Ten Hag would have profiled him as a player. I don't think he. I think that was a Glazer signing. That
100%.
I agree with that.
I think that's what kind of crashed our summer. You know, for me,
Yeah.
like, a lot of people might not like to hear me say this, right? But I feel like when the fans protested Mason Greenwood out, we kind of, in a way, hampered our own selves to start the season.
We did,
because
yeah.
I think it messed with the morale of the team. If you look at it, there were reports that the team came out and they posted out a team statement, each one of them on their profile, supporting Mason, and they was welcoming him back into the squad. And we kind of broke that harmony when we decided, you know what, we don't want this guy, you know? And this is why, one of the reasons why when I hear fans say the Donny van der Beek issue, I'll be like, listen, we did it to Greenwood, not the coach, because the coach was willing to back him.
Yeah.
The team was willing to back him, and we threw him away. So in a way, I feel like it's more circumstantial. There's going to be some mistakes. I'm not saying he's perfect, you know? All managers, I will give them the ability to make mistakes. Pep had 47 signings at City in the 7 years he's been there. And, you know, not much of those signings remain. It's the same thing with players, with teams like Liverpool and like Arsenal. Arsenal had 38 signings so far under Arteta in less time. So,
well, you're not going to, every player's not going to cut it, is it? You know, no one can buy 100% success rates. Here's another thing, but what you've got to factor in now, guys, yeah? Eric Ramsey has left the club, set-piece coach, and he hasn't been replaced, yeah? Read between the lines. If you're not replacing coaches, what does that say about the manager you got? You're not backing him.
True.
You're not backing him. He hasn't had no signings in January. We could have sold players in January and got a player in easily. We could have, yeah. Eric Ramsey, your set-piece coach is gone. And people are saying Eric Ten Hag going to be here next season. He's not going to be here next season. Believe me, he's gone. He's not going to be here.
In terms of the backroom staff,
plans.
in terms of the backroom staff, Tenno, I feel like we did them a disservice because I don't feel like we hire the right team to surround them with coaches that would provide the proper defense for a pressing style, the proper attack, the proper set
This
pieces.
is why I'm saying, Mark, it's not a case of whether people want Eric Ten Hag in or not. I just think the project Ineos are going to do, they're going to make a clean cut of everything and go, this is how we move forward. You're going to dance to our tune. Any dissent and you're gone. We're not tolerating it. If you don't like it, put your, like Ollie said, if you don't want to play, put your hand up.
100%.
There's the door, get out. You're gone.
Welcome,
Nick.
Mick. Big up to you, boss man. How are
Good
you doing this
morning.
morning? Haven't seen you in a while. We haven't been able to do our M&M streams together, but you're on my channel
No,
today.
it's
Thank
fine.
you.
It's
Thank
fine.
you.
Snakes on a Plane. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Manchester United right now.
Samuel L. Jackson, innit? Yeah.
Guys, just in reference to what Ollie said yesterday, when he Peter, you messaged me earlier, when he actually at the end of his career, when he actually went to the dressing room and say, "Put your hand up, whoever wants to play for me or play for the badge." And there was a handful of people that played. Everyone was down to him. Remember that season? It was the most horrid season ever,
Yeah.
you know? And just put yourself back in an article with Jose Mourinho back in December that he said the snakes are still here. Now, he tried to get rid of certain players that the club said no to, right? And those players still here. We're talking about Marshall, Rashford, Shaw,
Yeah.
and Scott McTominay. Now, it
Throw
was kind of
Lindelof in.
it was kind of a little bit of a revealing what he said yesterday. Mark and you and me, we had a little bit of disagreement over the Telegram chat, but it was clear and evidential if you went over that interview or sitting yesterday when he had at the podcast. Ollie is such a nice, pleasant guy, a humble guy. He would never, call
No.
anyone out. He's Mr. Nice Guy, polite. But in a way, this was a proper pop at the current establishment, the
Yeah.
way it's been recruited, the player power, everything was there, right? He said, when you took a job contract, you were hoping that, you can sort of be the one that takes United back to the top again.
Yeah.
But they're the ones telling me how to play. Be patient. You will get we will recruit. And he also talked about the scouting, right? Numerous of scouting reports just sitting on a pile. And the damning was also when he said he recommended Erling Haaland, Declan Rice, and all that stuff. And the club just ignored the thingies. So it's all about shirt sellers at the end of the day. It's all about seeing that current establishment are still there until Omar Barada and Ashworth and still are there. They're basically going over Ten Hag's head. The signing of Mason Mount was never his signing. It was something
No,
that
it
was
wasn't.
happened to be available. Same with Cristiano Ronaldo. We went and grabbed him, and without doing any proper analysis, hey, are you fit to play, right? So you can argue to the point that he also Ten Hag backed his corner regarding Anthony Dos Santos, right? To say, yeah, he's my guy, right? He did madness for me under Eredivisie, and his stats don't lie, but something has gone wrong with United, and something has gone wrong when you go back to tape when everyone was just actually having a meltdown when he said, I'm not here to play the Ajax way, I'm here to play the United way. He's been told by above, you're not allowed to play this style. This is how you should play, right? But people
Yeah.
that don't understand football, right? So putting everything together, guys, this is my thought and my thought alone, right? He came in first season, and he did magic with what he inherited. But if you go back and look at any manager, Arteta, Klopp, everyone else, they had the opportunity to cleanse that deadwood squad. Arteta did it
Correct.
in 2 years. He got rid of what is his name? Shaka, Aubameyang, Lacazette, and all these Guendouzi, all these shit players started to play youth, and everyone was going like, "Why are you playing this youth, right? Why are you giving Odegaard? Why are you playing Saka,
Martinelli.
Martinelli?
And
Yeah."
these guys,
So he
Martinelli.
Martinelli,
finished. He finished in 2 seasons.
8
Finished
points
eight,
twice.
eight, and people were calling his 10 Arteta out. In his third season, guys, he started to introduce a little bit more experience. He recruited in who? Sishenko. He recruited in what?
Thomas Partey.
Thomas Partey.
Thomas Partey, who is basically a injured flop
Injury prone
by the
guy.
way.
Injury prone player,
The
But and
Italian
also
sent CDM. What's his name?
yeah, yeah, and Declan Rice was this
Yeah.
season that made a game change.
Saliba.
And yeah, and what's his striker name right now?
Gabriel Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus. So he added on a little
Jesus.
bit more experience. So basically, he had the opportunity to cleanse out the squad and actually stop playing the style that he wanted to play. Right? Last season, everyone was surprised. What the hell is going on with Arsenal? Because they were playing like rock and roll football, like kill everyone
Yeah.
in the first 20 minutes. Right? Now, if you look at what Ten Hag really wants to do, and this is his playing style, I'm telling you right now, and you can sort of evidentially look at his recruitment, what he wanted. He recruited in Onana because he wants to play a high line. He wants to play with center backs that are fast. So basically, he wants to park the whole team above the halfway line.
Yeah.
So play and press with 8 people on front. And then if the ball goes over the top, you will have fast fullbacks and fast center backs that
Centre
can
backs too,
catch up,
correct.
right?
100%.
So having to say that, Plan A went to tits up in the summer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So have you ever seen any other team having half of squad of your senior players been injured, and you have to all of a sudden adjust your playing style, what you really plan for? I mean, trust me, planning takes months to do, right? This is how we're going
Of
to play.
course.
This is the
Yeah.
plan. And all of a sudden, you have to shuffle around and play personnel that are not really willing to do that for you, right? Marcus Rashford is not happy in this system. He's down tooling. You can clearly see his body language. Luke Shaw, injury prone. Malacia got out. Kobe Mainu got injured. Kobe Mainu came back after Christmas, by the way, and made a huge difference. Rasmus Højlund started to fire up after
Yeah.
Christmas. So is that Ten Hag's fault all of a sudden? Or is it the medical department, or is the poor planning from the
I
club?
don't make. I get what you're saying there, but you've also got to look at this. Yeah. When Eric Ten Hag took the job at United, he should have profiled every player that was on them books
That is
and
not his
looked at
job.
it and gone, can I
That
play
is
the way I want to play? Because he
that is
wants to
not his
play
job.
fast, intense football.
Yeah.
Half of these players can't do that.
I'm
True.
telling you, like, I
But
worked
they
in
can't do
many
it.
years. Yeah, I worked many years
This
with
is why
football
we're getting
managers.
injuries in
Yeah, but
training
I'm
because he's
telling you that is
overworking the players.
just to let you know that is not the manager's job, right? You have analysis to do the persona profiling based on what the managers need,
Well, yeah,
but but his job, that is not his job. That is the job of Dan Ashcroft and the head of recruitment to do the profiling. The final hurdle it comes down with the sporting director to say, what about the reference check? What about the personality check? Is it a cultural fit? Do you have the mental capacity? How about your injury record? The manager is never supposed to do that. The manager is there to assemble the squad and coach on daily basis. And by the
yeah.
way, coaches, you're managing coaches on the training
I'm on
pitch.
about when he actually took the job,
Yeah,
when he
Benny
actually
McCarthy.
accepted the job as Man United
Yeah.
manager.
Let me
He
let me
knew the
land, Peter.
player roster that was there.
Let me land, Peter. So, as a manager of a football club, you managing people below you, like the set piece coaches, the defense coaches, the goalkeeper coaches. You have, let's say, the assistant coaches as well. That is your job, right? Anything above is not your priority, like the strategical vision, the playing style, and that's what he said 2 weeks ago, Mark, when we did the presser, when he said that, when he asked the question, he said Manchester United is the biggest club in the world, and it's almost impossible to do. It is impossible to do everything by yourself. So the guy's been drowning in a fucking shitstorm because you look who is sitting above and supporting him. Nobody. You have Darren Fletcher, no
No
fucking
one.
CV. You have fucking, what's it called? John Murta, that is outsourcing
Almost.
everything that he does, using consultants, using his brother-in-law as a lawyer, goes on a
Richard
fucking
Arnold.
holiday. Yeah, goes on a fucking holiday in the middle of transfer window, right? And then you see what Ollie said yesterday. The layers of approval is 4 different layers.
Yeah.
4 different layers. So you have the scouting, you have the manager who has a veto, you have John Murto has a veto, and then the final say goes to Joel Glazer, right? Pause for a second. Then you go back to Omar Barada interview, how City used to operate. They used to sit down, Omar Barada, the head of recruitment, the coach, everyone sitting and talking about the transfer targets, looking at we're not overpaying,
Yeah.
looking at the mentality, looking at everything. And that is levels of difference. Now you go back to Eric Ten Hag, fuck, I got to do everything because these fuckers don't understand football, right?
100%.
So he
Yeah.
said, John Murta, I want Frankie de Jong. He's the key cog to how I want to play football. What did they do? They fucked up. They went down to a plane to Barcelona, spotted sitting having lunch with Frankie, both him and Arnold,
Three times.
negotiating.
Three
Yeah,
times.
3 times,
I think
negotiating the
see.
fee and everything. And 2 weeks left of the window. What happens? Plan B, revert to Casemiro. And Ten Hag has to change his whole playing style. So you understand how planning goes because
Yeah, of course, yeah.
the way
But,
you want to
the
play
thing
is
is, Mick,
basic.
is this though, isn't it? Yeah, right. In any job, in any walk of life, you can't have everything your way. You have to adapt and bend. It's like me when I was a chef, when I went in different kitchens. Every layout will be different. I have to adapt to that layout. It's as
Yeah,
simple
true.
as that.
No, but
The bottom
let's say
line is this:
you
the
as a
buck
chef,
stops with the manager because you're
you're
the one
cooking up.
putting the team out.
Let's say what's
That's the problem.
what's your favorite dish to cook?
Oof, all sorts, yeah. I mean, pastas, curries, things. It depends on where you work.
Okay,
I mean,
let me put it like this.
when I was a chef, yeah. When I lived in London, I came back home to Chester, and I went back to London, and I purposely worked in kitchens on a freelance basis. So I wasn't, stationed in one building all the time. I was here, there, and everywhere. I've done that to see if I could adapt to things.
Okay,
And you'll be
so
surprised that when you're in different environments, how you have to adapt. And sometimes you can't adapt to the environment you're in.
all right,
You put your hands up and go, I can't do this job. I just
no,
can't adapt to it. And I
fair enough.
think this is the situation Eric Ten Hag is in now. He's gone into a job and he can't adapt to it.
It's not about adapting, Peter. I hear what you're saying, but let me just put it in your situation as a 5-star Michelin chef, right? You work for a 5-star restaurant. I don't know the name of it. It's got a reputation, right?
The
Your job
Chester,
is to, your
Great.
job is to put a world-class menu, right? A set
Yeah.
menu. So that's your job to plan, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you go away and you tell your purchaser, whatever it's called in the industry, the sourcer, whatever you call it, right?
Yeah.
The restaurant man, I need these type of ingredients to make a successful creme brulee or whatever, right? Just an example.
Yeah.
And the fucker turns back and doesn't give you what you want.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you have to fucking redo the whole fucking menu.
Adapt, yeah.
Yeah. You want the best beef, Wagyu beef, and somebody gives you what? Some mutton or whatever.
Yeah.
Just analogy, just to give you an
Oh yeah,
layman's
I get
yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, but that's what you're saying is the standard. Things will never ever go the way you want them to go, but you
Yeah.
maintain that standard. That's
Yeah,
why
but
you're in that job is to maintain
how are
when
you going
things
to
go wrong that standard, that level. Eric Ten
how
Hag is not doing it. That's
yeah,
the
no. But the
difference.
thing is,
He's not doing it.
how are you gonna cook up a storm when you have what you heard Ollie said,
Nick,
four
listen.
different of vetoes, right? Four
People
different of
go on.
layers
Eric Ten
deciding.
Hag's been going on. I've
Can I
interviewed
finish?
players, this and that, yeah.
Can I
Look at
finish?
Manj at Spurs. Key
Yeah.
players missing. Classic example, what blew Eric Ten Hag away was Jurgen Klopp in the Carabao Cup final when he won that competition playing kids
Yeah, but
against the
those kids in
season
the
team.
system for the last
No, but
9
what I
years
want to
speak
say,
a
if
different.
you let me finish, Peter, I would just want to land up so you can understand where I'm coming from. Like I hear what you're saying, but if you're a
And you
head
just
chef,
said it, Nick.
why
did Liverpool win the Carabao
you're
Cup
not letting me to
final
speak.
in extra time? Now, can I just say this? Because
Yeah, you
it
can.
factors into what you just said. Why did Liverpool win the Carabao Cup final in extra time with kids on? Because they played to a system.
Yeah, but those kids
Because
grew up in that system.
Even though they're
because
different players,
and
they're
how
not
long have
Salah, they're not
and
Nunes, they're not Kulishevsky,
okay
they're different players, but they
all right.
played to a system. That's what won them
Yeah,
that
but
game.
Okay, Peter, stop there for a minute. How long have they been playing under Klopp's system? 8-9 years, right? They had 8-9 years to
Not
adapt
at
to
pro
that
level,
system.
no.
No, but they had it 8, 9 years at the end of the
Eight,
day.
9 years.
Academy.
Whatever, however you train and the first team goes down to the academy, that is the style. So they had
Yeah,
basically eight,
exactly.
9 years to play that. How much time did Ten Hag have? 2 to implement. If you look at
Yeah,
under 21s and under 18s, they're playing perfectly Eric Ten Hag style football at the moment, right? But I just want to finish what I said, and this is going in correlation to what Solskjaer was saying in that interview and what's currently going on, right? So if there's layers of veto approvals, if you're working in this restaurant and you're the head chef and you can't fucking get your creme brulee or whatever you call it, filet mignon, to be the perfect because they're failing you.
yeah.
You're not getting the ingredients that you requested. Yeah. Because they're thinking, oh, we get the cheap stuff. Right. So how are you going to cook a perfect storm? And that's what I'm trying to say. And this is kind of similar what I can apply to what Ten Hag is doing at the moment. Right?
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, but again, it comes down to adaptation. You adapt, you change, you go,
But
okay,
how
I
can you
can't do
adapt?
it.
But then how can you adapt when the club is fucked you over in the January window by loaning up all your spare parts?
It still comes
Right?
back to what I said, though, Mick. When Eric Ten Hag got offered the job at Man United, he knew the roster of players, what he had to work with.
Yeah, but they
You're
lied to
making
him as well.
excuses for a man
I'm
who
not
knew
making
what he was
excuses.
walking
I'm
into.
going what ten. I'm
He knew
going
what he
also.
was walking into.
Look, go back to the interview what Ollie said as well. When I accepted this job, there's certain terms that you agree on, and you can say the manager, the establishment lied
Yeah,
to me. Yeah. So the same thing,
well,
they've
of
been
course,
lying
yeah.
to each manager. So what happens is the first year they say, okay, 10, you will have everything that you want. Second year comes around, what happens to every single fucking manager in the club? They fuck them over, right?
Same thing. Same
And
thing.
then they get players that you didn't request because you already made your planning to make your fucking perfect
Yeah,
five-star
of
course
course,
meal,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then all
And
of a sudden you have to change your playing style because they get your Ronaldo, they get your Cavani that you didn't want to, they get your Mason Mount that you never requested for, right? So it goes back to he had a plan. Okay, I'm getting Onana because I want to play sweeper keeper, I want to play high
no,
line. I'm getting certain players, right? What happened in this summer? They didn't fucking have any money. They had to go and Sophie Amrabat to actually finesse a loan deal, right? And come December, right? Did he get any backing? Me and Mark, we did like in a press conference
oh
interesting
yeah, I
when they
get what you're
asked the
saying.
question and say, yes, I want players on the loan, but there is no money for FFP, right? So what happened?
You,
What happened?
you know what
What
though, Mick?
happened? What happened? What happened? Sorry, Pete. What happened is
Yeah,
they loaned all the kids out. They sold everything, banking on the Leacher will come back, that
yeah, he hasn't.
that Luke
Uh,
Shaw will be fit, Casemiro. Okay, what happened? We are holiday. We're skating on thin ice. We have no fucking players because the inept of the people of above Ten Hag sold off the kids, loaned out all your spare
yeah,
parts to other clubs, and you are now expecting for him to make top four with little. I mean, I'm just saying you got to look at the whole 360
well, of
degree.
course. Mick, I get what you're saying, but it's like this. So, if Eric Ten Hag can sit down and go to himself, look, I haven't been given the players I wanted. Fair enough. The players I've got, I can't really do what I want to do. If that was me in that position, you know what I'd do? I'd sit down, go to the head on show and go, I can't work under these conditions. I'm resigning from the job. Have a nice day. There's also that option of Eric Ten Hag going, I can't work under what you're trying to give me to do.
Yeah, but now
He won't
now
resign because he wants
now
paying off.
it's a relief for him when you actually had the takeover with Ineos coming in. Now we have a proper fucking structure, and that is what I'm looking at, right? Because if you go back before he accepted the job, he was used to working under that kind of structure under Overmars, having
Well, of course,
pro-
yeah.
proper operations. United haven't had that proper operations, and that's why we are so far behind. Everyone has been catching up. Brighton, Fulham. You go back and
Excuse me.
to you go back to what the final moment of that interview, what Ole was saying. You know, and he said basically every team has now invested in an infrastructure, right?
Yeah, of
So
course.
every team is competitive. The league is not like they used to be in the old days when I
No.
used to manage. So we've been stuck in cement for 10 years.
There's a few things, Mick. Like I was saying to Mark and Kenny before you came on. Yeah. One is, will Eric Ten Hag be able to work under the structure of Ineos?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
But I said, like, one of my analogies was you could sell Marcus Rashford, say he's worth 80 million, and he's on £350,000 a week wages. We could sell him to PSG with that 80 million, buy 4 players for 20 million, and pay them £50,000 a week. You still save £150,000, and you've gained 4 players.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now these
I,
4 players mightn't be ballers.
to answer
Okay.
your question,
The point is, can Eric Ten Hag work under the regime? Is we're going to get players. What you got to understand is this: is how Ineos want to play the game.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe Eric Ten Hag doesn't fit into their plan. How they want to play the game.
But I think they already had a discussion behind closed doors, to be honest. And to answer your question, I want to address every one of you, because tell me any job where you been the only one managing. I mean, it's all about doing what you're supposed to do, just managing the team,
Yeah,
right? So
results.
there's no other Premier League club in the Prem that has what Ten Hag has, or what Sir Alex Ferguson used to have. He's basically in charge of everything. So instead
Yeah,
of optimizing, and that's what he said in 2 weeks ago in a press conference, that everyone needs to be on the same page. Let me just do my job, and you guys
that's
take
it.
care
Yeah,
of the rest. So if you're telling me, Omar Barada, this is the way we're gonna play. If you, Dan Ashford, saying this is the player that we need, of course he's gonna succeed, because that takes away a lot of pressure, because he's been dealt with every fucking scandals, the press conference, the raping allegations, and all that stuff, and takeover, right? If you
yeah.
take all that burden, which is 50% of his current job description, take that away, and you give him 100% full optimization, what Brailsford is all about. Of course he can, because he's done it before in
Yeah, but
Ajax.
what you got to factor in, Mick, is the players they get. Do they want to play, or does Eric Ten Hag want them that style of player?
Well,
Yeah,
that's up to
like Holly alluded to,
they will be
with
gone.
that Ronaldo being forced on him.
They'll
I
be
didn't
gone.
really want Ronaldo, but
Neither did I.
I got put with him.
But
We got put with me. That's it. This is the scenario Eric Ten Hag
but
could be in. Is
yeah, no,
this
but
is the player you're
that's
going
the
to work
scenario
with?
will stop, Peter. That is the old scenario where
It's
every
not.
manager's been overruled, right?
That's
It
the
ain't gonna happen.
scenario
It
he's
ain't
going
gonna
to work
happen in a
under.
professional environment where you have professional football operation people above you, and you included in this conversation, right? You have a certain percent veto, which say, "I want this player." So the sporting director is there to question, why do you want to sign this player for 100 million when you can look at this, and that, according to a scouting report? So it's
Yeah, exactly.
so it is a teamwork at the end of the day, what you decide for. You look at the persona profile, you look at the mental profile, you look at the price tag, and they will not overpay anymore, because all of a sudden you have people working with you. If you go back in the current establishment, you have people that don't fucking understand shit what they're doing and overpaying for players. Yeah. So that is the big difference. What's going to happen.
Yeah,
So
of
yes,
course.
to answer your question, will he work well in the structure? 100% yes. Any manager will do, because every person needs support. You can just correlate to in your
Well, of
working
course, yeah.
environment. You need a
But the
professional
thing
team.
is, Mick, yeah,
Mm,
right. The thing is, what you got to understand is, yeah, every manager, doesn't matter who you are, De Zerbi, Potter, whatever, every manager puts their own stamp on the team. Yeah. Have you ever considered this? Maybe Eric Ten Hag is just not good enough in the Premiership.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
he
Maybe
might.
he's just not good enough.
I mean, we
I don't
can't
believe
say
it,
he's
And
because
you
not
can
good
put
I
him
enough.
saw the
in.
first
You
season.
can put him in any structure. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough.
But
I
Peter,
just see two sides. Last season and this season, two different nuances. Last season, it was amazing football in certain way. We went like on a winning run. The confidence was there. The fan base was all positive, singing Ten Hag's, praising his name, and all of a sudden you go from hero to a zero. What happened, right? So what happened in between is what I'm focusing at, right? And this is what I've been speaking about. The lack of
Of course,
support,
yeah.
the injuries, the medical department. I don't need to mention all this because you guys know it, right?
Of course, yeah, we know.
And the
We know.
takeover.
Guys, thank you so much for
Yeah, it's
this
been great.
morning. And
Oh,
I just wanted to, go because I have to go actually. I have to go to class in a little bit. So guys,
okay.
thanks so much. I have a stream again at 10 p.m. UK time tonight, guys. So I don't know if you might be available. If you guys are, come through. We'll continue the
Yeah,
discussion. I just feel like after hearing everything all you both have said, even what Sachev said, I feel like it makes me feel like, listen, we need to take a step back as fans, because yes, we could sit
yeah,
down and say, it's not been great this season, but at the same time, when you look at the background, if we could fix everything in the background, I think it will be a propulsion for a change and improve what we have right now. I think if we get another coach, it's going to set us back, because it's going to mean that he now has to do what you don't want, Alien, which is assess the team based on the profiles of players we already have, see who he wants, which will take another season, and
yeah.
then start getting them out. That means we won't get rid of the players who are bad
In
in
one
this
season.
summer window,
In this
which for
summer.
me is a negative, no
We're
matter
not
which
going to do
manager
that
come in.
anyway. We're not. This is going to take at least 3 to 4 windows to get rid of the dead wood.
Well, I mean,
This is
at
why
least,
I've been saying to people, we're not going to do anything for 3 seasons.
I
People
mean,
need to understand that
that's
while
only
it's
if we
getting
get a new
rebuilt.
manager, Tenno. Because if we don't get a new manager, then let's say we get rid of 4 players in this window. That's 4 players out and 4 new players that come in that fit the profile of an expansive attacking
Just
team.
This is it.
So,
just a
so the,
final point though. Just a
yeah,
final point from my
big
end.
up, Mick.
The manager's got 1 year left on his contract. All I'm saying is I'm not Ten Hag in and I'm not Ten Hag out. I'm in doubt. I've been in doubt for a certain reason. The reason per se is because I have high standards, right? I want the club to succeed. I want him to succeed. I want his team to finish in a strong position. The only reason why I'm saying is because we are never given a manager a full tenure, 3
No,
years contract to see him out. So what I want to see is, okay, prove it what you got with this right structure. If you now getting like a sporting director, head of recruitment, and people
no.
to work with you, maybe you will be different. If that doesn't work, then you start with that fresh page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you now sack Ten Hag, that means that you're throwing out 2 years of build and process and start over again, and that means
Exactly.
an additional 2 years adding on to what Ineos has to plan for. People are not
True.
thinking that way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is, Mick, it's like I said to Mark and Kenny before, yeah. You look at Barca, Real Madrid, Bayern, PSG, they're a middle ground of managers, yeah. Why them managers? Why is them teams constantly successful? Because they have a structure. It doesn't matter which manager comes in, they adhere to their structure. So basically, their rule of thumb is this: we'll bring a manager in, burn him out for 2, 3 seasons, don't replace him with a new one. Here's the structure you're going to work with. This is the game plan. This is why they're always there at the top,
Yeah, but
because
it's
they've
not a
got
two,
the
three
structure
seasons
right.
thing at any
So
of those
when they
clubs.
know the manager is starting to wane, they go refresh him.
Yeah, but then you can
Eric Ten
take
Hag is now falling into that part of
let
every three seasons you'd
take
renew the manager.
Bayern
Barcelona
Munich.
don't redo their manager every 3 seasons, Tenno.
Yeah,
The
but you know what I
No,
mean.
shortest.
no, but
You know what I'm saying.
what you're saying here is a perfect example of what Bayern does, right? But Bayern has years and years of already established structure,
That's
right?
what I'm
They
saying.
have
Yeah,
right, so they bring in managers. If you're not successful, the performance manager, you go out the door because they have standards. We want to win
yeah,
the Bundesliga. We want to win Champions League, XYZ. All right, so they sacked what's his name, Tuchel, just to relieve pressure on him. And look how is he playing now, right?
yeah.
But they're
But
ruthless.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's Tuchel a bad manager when he's
Yeah.
won the Champions League with
Yeah, but
Chelsea
Chelsea used to have that as well
because
until
he's not
Todd
been
Bowl
successful at
and
Bayern. Does that
until
make
Todd.
him a bad manager?
No, wait a minute. Chelsea had that perfect recipe until Todd Bowley came in and threw a hand grenade in and just totally fucked it up. He sacked Marina, which was the best negotiator on the market. He sacked everyone and thought, I can do it myself. He went all in, bought a whole new squad in one
Yeah, of
season.
course. Yeah.
Right? So,
Probably
and
thought
that
he
is
was playing
backfiring. That is
PS5.
backfiring. They reported losses, by the way, the Clearwater Capital. So So all I'm saying is that United has cleared the FFP, right?
No,
They cleared the FFP. Let's see what happens in the summer. Come what may, I don't believe any word what comes out from the
no.
gravy train media at the moment, because they have nothing else to write about. If you look at Manchester United on one football app, all you can see is about Ten Hag suck and who we are linked to. For fuck's sake, Graham Potter. For fuck's sake, Gareth Southgate. Where is his names coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So put two and two together that they have nothing else to write about, so they are actually putting pressure,
Mark,
right?
yeah, of
And this
course.
gravy train going to continue.
With Man United, we're always big news.
Big
Mm.
news. The
Big
top
news.
news.
They got a
Everyone
great
makes a
news.
living out of Man United, don't they?
But tell me, Peter, like, there is not one single day in the papers that
No,
you don't read any scandals by United that's been fabricated or made up, and that is why Ten
well, of
Hag
course, yeah.
fucking banned Samuel Lockhurst, the ESPN what's his name, Rob Dawson.
Mark,
Rob
I think
Dawson,
Mark,
yeah.
Rob Dawson
he's,
is the one
I
that
think
is
Mark Ogden,
writing a
yeah.
lot
Mark
of this
Ogden.
shit about replacement of managers. So you can put two and two together. So who's been banned and who is creating the most of the noise? But where is Fabrizio Romano reporting on? Where is the heavyweights, Ornstein, etc.? Nobody's selling anything.
No. Because they
100%.
don't know, do they? They don't know because Sir Jim's not going to go blabbing his business to anyone, is he? He's a
Yeah,
businessman. As
but
soon
it's
as
it's
you
so.
start putting out in the wild what you're going to do, people will go, well, okay, so that means you want this type of player. Okay, there's 20 million on top.
But then
He's
it's a
not going to
double-edged
do that.
sword. Why is not Ineos putting a stop to these PR leaks, right? To go out and say we back the manager. No, maybe they're doing it because they want to put pressure on the manager to win. But is it the right way to do it?
No,
Who knows? Who
No.
knows,
I
guys?
don't know. I mean, the question is for Ten Hag, guys, is this. I don't think we're going to get top four. Whether we can get Champions League through top five, you don't know. So I
Ah,
suppose, you
I
know,
have. I'm gonna do a podcast later on and the road to top four.
yeah. I mean,
This is
if
how.
Man City can win the Champions League again, maybe, we'll get top five place. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Before we
Let's
finish
just
this off, this is
hypothesize.
your show.
What I'm
Tell
saying is
me,
this quick. If we don't get Champions League, is the Europa League enough for Ineos to say, we'll
it
keep
is.
Ten Hag?
That's money in the bank. That's
That's what I'm
revenue.
saying. Although it's not as
Europa League.
much, but don't forget it's been restructured for next
Yeah.
season,
Yeah.
the Europa League.
Let
So
me
there's
tell you
more
one thing.
money coming in.
Let me tell you one thing. Do your research, and this is my podcast for later on. Check Spurs fixtures, check Aston Villa's pictures, and compare to
Yeah.
United, and you will
Yeah,
see the roadmap clear, right?
The next 5 games, Aston Villa has to play everybody above them back to back to back in 3 game weeks.
Yeah,
yeah,
The same thing
yeah,
for Tottenham Hotspurs.
yeah.
And this guys is where there's a pathway. And the
And
only way
this,
Eric Ten Hag, I see for me, he has some credit in the bank from last season, but I feel like this is his pathway to getting himself solidified, backed for the summer, and getting United
but,
back in a
but,
simple situation for top four.
but,
but we
that
also
also
need
come
our consistency, though, don't we?
exactly, and that means that players needs to be laser sharp,
Laser
Yeah,
right?
sharp.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
needs to be on board. Is this what you want? Do you want to finish in Champions League, or you want to just down tool, right? So,
yeah.
having to said that, you look at the injury rosters and who's coming back, right? Hoyland seems to be back fit for Everton. Would you play him against Everton?
No,
No.
no.
Everton, we should scrape by, right?
Mhm.
Then we have an international break, right?
Mm.
You will have
Uh,
Licha coming back. Mason Mount looks like he's coming back as well.
Malassi is back.
Malacia as well.
Malasia,
He's in
Malasia,
training.
right?
yeah.
So all of a sudden we will have a full squad to finish strong at the rest of the season. While Liverpool is feeling the pain of their injury strains, everyone is kind of now feeling what we've been feeling. So that is the potential part, but it's all down to what he's saying. Cup
Yeah,
games. Every game is a cup game final, right? And the players need to be switched on. Now, Everton, we should beat at home on Saturday. We
Yeah.
should.
should do.
That would be the 5th cup double. That would be the 6th league double we do this season, you know. The 6 team we beat 2 games in a row. Hopefully we get it done.
But
Guys, sorry, but I really have to go. I have to go get
Yeah.
ready to
oh
go
yeah,
to
no
class.
worries.
Guys,
It's a
Yeah.
thank you
surprise.
for
Cheers,
being
all,
here,
anyway.
Alien.
Ah,
So much.
Nick,
Pasha, thank
Kenny.
you for coming on. It was your first time on my channel. Big up to you, my
Can he
brother.
talk? I haven't heard him.
Hey, Kenny, close
Kenny.
the show for us, bro. You heard a lot
Yeah,
of talk. You heard a lot of stuff. You haven't said
yeah,
much right now.
yeah.
Let's go
Yeah.
home, bro.
Yeah, lad. See you guys later. Thank you for.
See you, Mick.
Big up, Mick. Thank you for coming
See ya.
in. Big up to you.
Cheers.
Kenny,
Cheers,
last
cheers,
words.
cheers, Mick. Last words. Last words. I have just 3 words for you. Trust the process.
Trust the process.
That's the process.
And we'll
Everything
go with
has a
that,
process.
guys. We'll go with
Take
that
care.
one. Trust
Cheers,
the
boys.
process. Let's see how it goes. We got a big game this weekend against Everton at home. We'll see you
I'll
guys
be
later
there.
on. We will be there. Tenno, you will be
I'll
there.
be
And I
there.
know
Yeah,
Mick,
I'll be there.
we will be here for the presser.
there.
There's a presser today, Mick. We have to check.
No, tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
We will be there, Mick.
For home
We will be
games,
there.
it's Fridays.
Cool.
Away
Yeah.
games Thursdays.
All
So
right,
we'll be there
guys.
tomorrow, my friend.
Well, MUFC Realist TV, 1:45 UK time. Be there, guys. Mick and
Yeah.
Mark, we will be doing the presser together. Alien, I'll see you guys later. Mick, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Big up to
you
everyone who
later,
came in the
guys.
chat. GB, Yarly, Stephanie, thank you guys so much. Big up to you, Buckwheat. Big up to you. Big up to everyone. Richard Hutchinson, thank you for coming in. Catch you guys later.